Lovely spindle, one of my all-time favourites. Not sure you can see why. Well, hello. Thanks for joining me. Well, today, as you notice, I'm walking a bit quicker. I look a bit further away from the camera. That means it's going to be a chatty video. So, I am on one of Britain's oldest routes. Oldest trackway. It's called the Ridgeway, and it's called the Ridgeway for obvious reasons, which I only just realised recently. Although I've grown up right by it, I've known it all my life. I just never associated ridge with the tops of hills. Anyway, which it clearly is. And I'm not alone. I mentioned to one of my son's friends about Bath. I said, oh yeah, it's always a bit hotter, isn't it, going into Bath because of the hot springs. And he went, oh yeah, oh that's why it's called Bath. So I'm not alone. Anyway, so I thought it might be fitting if I discuss something. Well, okay, now this might not interest some of you, but it may interest all of you. It's coming with a warning because it's going to shatter some beliefs that you may have. So proceed with, you have been warned. So let's go, shall we? Okay. Right. Now, whether I'm not going to go into the origins here of magic. I'm not. Because that's an interesting question, because did it happen before modern man, or was it around in hunter-gatherer days? I don't know. It's not something I know or can answer. Anyway, now if you look into sort of magic, I'm basically, the art of causing changes in consciousness, sure. Okay, that's a good definition. And then if you look into other things, like for example ritual magic or the tarot, you'll come across the 4 tools, okay, which are the cup, the wand, the sword and the pentacle. Okay, they're your basic tools for protection and use, actually. Now you could probably see why it's useful to walk along a ridge. So, what's associated with these tools are the 4 elements, or the 4 Western elements, shall we say, which are water, fire, air and earth. I'm not going to include the 5th element that I would call spirit, although I do use it in my thoughts and whenever I do anything. I use the 5 because there's the 4 separates, then all is one. That's how I see it anyway. So let's start then. So each of these tools has been assigned an element. Now, the traditional elements are as follows: water for the chalice or cup, fire for the wand or rod, air for the sword, and the pentacle for earth. Now, if we look at this in another way, you know, one way to hide knowledge is to not let the people have access to it. Another way to hide knowledge is to change it slightly. So I want to put forward another group of correspondences for those tools. Okay, right, well, I'm going to start with the chalice and water, because of all of those elements, one is essential. Well, arguably 2 are, but anyway, I'm just starting with water. Well, you need something to hold the water. Even if it's your cupped hands, they're still cupped. Yeah, so chalice and water. Now, I'm not going to be altering that. That one, there's no way you can disagree with that. You need a vessel to hold the liquid. So let's have a look at the others. Okay. So, fire, wands. Well, wands are traditionally bits of wood. Bits of wood? Well, that's earth, surely. So I would say wand is earth. Now, air, swords. Well, swords are made of metal and have been heated in the fire. They're essentially set fire to and then hammered into shape. So I'm going to say that swords are fire. And then you have the pentacle for earth. Well, the pentacle you draw in the air. You draw in the air. So I'm going to say that pentacles are air. Because that all makes far more sense to me than it does the other way. Now, what do you think? Hidden in plain sight, twist it around, and then those rituals that people do, well, they're not going to be effective, are they? Because they'll be skewed. Now, if I go on a bit further, what I could say is that what if there is a hidden ruling elite? What if there is? And the way and because they work in darkness and negativity, having things be turned around upside down, well, wouldn't that work quite well for them? And what better way than have any kind of magic to be slightly skewed and twisted? So it doesn't have to be all wrong, it just has to be slightly skewed for it to be twisted. You know, you look at anything, and what makes it twisted is something that's seemingly normal, but has been changed to something very dodgy. So I'll be interested to hear what you think. The other, you know, there is no doubt that spirit is spirit. In the, you know, the five elements, it's the ether, isn't it? It's that thing. That thing pervades everything but is unnameable. You know, there isn't anything that hasn't been created that can't be attributed to that. Well, there's a shot. That's a shot of Cheryl Hill, isn't it? Wow, so Avebury's in between us. Well, if I zoom back, you'll see just how far away it is, actually. It's not quite as near as it looks, but it's only about 7 or 8 miles away, as the twisty walking route goes. Now we're going to be quite close to the road, so you might hear road noise and detritus of humans, but this is kind of this is kind of my name. And this is kind of my logo for Woodland Temple. I mean, as I'd always say, you know, do your own research and have your own thoughts. I know there's different ways, you know, certain things can correspond to other things, can't they? You know, metals found in the earth, for example. So you've just got to find your own way. But I think there are some basics which make more sense. Now you may choose to carry on as you were, but let me continue, really, because I won't do a separate one about this. I may add some footage in, but now the tarot. Now that's been devised in various ways. It's not that old, it's not ancient. So, you know, the 22 paths does correspond to like magical numbers, and numbers are, you know, seen as a thing, you know, within magic, quite important, and hide secrets. Like 22 over 7 is pi, for example, and 7 and 22 being magical numbers. But then aren't all numbers magical in the right circumstance? And haven't all numbers been created by man? Anyway, the tarot, well, I love it. Love them. I mean, obviously I'd rather see ancient forests through there. But, you know, it's not to be, sadly. Not yet, anyway. Well, when dealing with the tarot, one thing you have to bear in mind is that you could be working with entities of the lower astral, because not everything that comes to you is coming for your own good. And I might do a separate video on that because it's really important. Really important. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope that's got the sparks in your brain are flying. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment. Check out the links below. Sign up for something. Sign up for a healing walk, guided walk, healing session. Advice on land even. Donate if you want to, by Patreon, PayPal. Buy us a coffee, anything, all of it helps. And see you next time. Ta-da.